For millions of people, having one's own company is a dream. This is particularly true in the United States, where immigrants start up new businesses at a rate twice that of native-born Americans. There's a difference, however, in starting up a business and running it successfully. With us in studio today is Ana Jose. She joins us to talk about Latino-owned companies and transforming the West Michigan business environment. Ana, welcome to Feel Like You Belong.
Oh, thank you so much for the invitation. I'm honored to be here today.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. And we've met through the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and you just recently signed on there. And I'd like to talk about that and the business climate in West Michigan in a minute, but I want to start out with your roots. You're not originally from West Michigan.
No, I'm not.
Tell us about your journey.
I was born and raised in the Dominican Republic. Came here when I was 17 years of age, turning 18.
Okay. Tell us about growing up in the Dominican Republic.
Growing up in the Dominican Republic is the one thing that still keep me humble and keep me in a way that I love and I really identify with who I am today because of my upbringing, the way that I was raised. I was really poor. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, of course. My mom had to work. My dad left the same day that I was born.
Oh my.
And he just didn't even he just peeked to make sure that I was born, and then he left to find a better life. And that happened with a lot of our parents. They try to move on to see if they could find a better life for their kids, for their family.
Outside of the DR?
Outside the Dominican Republic. He actually went to Puerto Rico.
Okay.
You know, in
technically the United States.
The United States, yeah. So that way he could have a better life, so he could support his kids.
And they also speak Spanish in Puerto Rico?
They speak Spanish in Puerto Rico, and he was there for a while, then he moved to New York. And then at that point he had another family. So my brothers and I, we were left behind in the Dominican Republic with single mom, working, cleaning houses, washing people's clothing, cooking, doing whatever she could just to give us a better life. So I know what it is to grow without. I'm proud to say that because of her determination to have a better life for her kids, she made sure that we went to school. She made sure that we ate whatever she had. She made sure that she instilled in us the importance of doing the right thing even though no one is watching. So, and she's such a hard worker, my mom, such a hard worker. So at the age of 17, my dad started the process to bring us to the United States, and we were able to get my brother, my second brother and I, we were able to come to New York to live with his new family.
And there's a big Dominican community in New York, correct? There
is a lot. It's a huge community in New York. But I still felt that I didn't belong there. Sure. Because it was way too big for me. I remember when we first came, it was December, close to December, and it was like freezing. One of the biggest Nevada, the storm, in the history of New York. I had to say, oh my God, really? We couldn't even go outside for like a week and a half or so. And I was just watching in the window to see the snow. It was amazing to me because I never had that experience. But my brother, he was like, oh my God, I want to go home. I was like, boy, shut up.
And for people who aren't geography buffs, they may not know the Dominican Republic is in the Caribbean.
It is.
Tropical climate, and so
80,
New
90.
York is, you know, why couldn't Dad have picked Miami at least? But
I know.
So there you are in the northern climates, and New York is a large city. Did you grow up in a small town?
Yes, I was born and raised in a little tiny town, San Pedro de Macorís, but you have to go like 12 miles in to the Ingenio Consuelo. Okay. So it's like a little tiny town. People love each other. I know back then, and they know each other. Sure. It's like if you do something wrong, either you're going to get beaten by the neighbor or somebody's going to come and take care of you.
Takes a village, and it did. Yeah.
It did. So,
how'd you get from New York to Michigan?
Well, things were not going too well. When my dad had a new family, things was not going too well for me and my brother. And once I graduated from high school, I talked to my aunt, and I said, well, there's no way I want to stay here. And then we had an aunt that lived here in Grand Rapids.
Okay.
So my other aunt, Alicia, who's actually one of the big pillars in my family, my aunt, Tia Alicia, she called my Tia Felicia and told her that, you know, Ana needs to move. She don't like it here. Things are not going the way she wanted or the way she had expected. And my aunt, you know, she was amazing. She passed away a couple years back. And she said, okay, don't even think about it twice. My brother helped me buy a plane ticket, and I came to Grand Rapids. And I remember that I had to wait for someone to pick me up from the airport. And I had like a couple quarters because I didn't have money. I didn't have much of anything. So I used like 5 cents, and I called my aunt's house, and I was talking to my cousin for like an hour for 5 cents back then in '91.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, wait a minute, we've been talking for almost an hour, right? Because I had to wait until someone get out of work so they could go pick me up. And I didn't have to put any more money in the phone. Isn't that crazy? I was like, you know what? I'm staying in Grand Rapids no matter what.
This is a divine sign.
Exactly.
That you belonged here.
I belong here.
Yeah.
So and I've been here since then, and I don't have absolutely no regrets. I think people are amazing. They're wonderful. I have my ups and downs like everybody else, but I will not do it any different than what I have done.
So when you came here, you were high school age, but in New York they speak English. How was that transformation for you?
It was huge. I didn't understand. Well, my grandmother, my mom's mom, she was actually born in the Virgin Islands, so she spoke English back home, right? But it was the broken English.
Sure.
So she used to ask for water and say water, right?
Oh, sure.
So it was different, but I actually learned a lot with my grandma. So when I came here, I will say water, and the instructor will say like, okay, now what is she talking about? But then I know, exactly. So, but he was so amazing and kind, and he used to stay with me after school and teach me the pronunciation and how to say things, and that's how I really learned. And then I have this friend, Sylvia, that was incredible and amazing, and we're still in contact with one another, that she really poured her heart and soul in helping me as much as she could back then. Because I was one that was I was bullied a lot in school, in high school.
Because you were different from
I was
the other
completely
kids.
different from the kids. I was not the typical Dominican. I wasn't the typical Hispanic, and I'm still not,
Sure,
you know?
sure. And a lot of people from the U.S. who aren't aware of the span of Hispanic culture is there are folks from the African diaspora in the Caribbean, in Eastern South America, and so they're not. Yeah, you don't look Mexican, which is the stereotype of all Latinos are Mexican.
Yeah.
No.
No, and until this day, I could walk into a space, and you know, sometimes I feel that my own culture will have those barriers because they don't feel that either I belong, I'm not, I don't look Mexican enough, I don't look Dominican enough. It's like, who is she?
Right.
But you know, I need to let them know, hey, I'm Dominican. Yeah. I eat plátano every day, almost every day when I can. And my culture, my heritage, my family, and this is who I am.
Sure, sure. So how did you get an interest in business and studying all things financial?
The majority of the people in my family either are nurses, doctors, and everything else. I never liked nursing. I never liked to be a doctor.
Well, people have these yucky bodies.
Yeah,
right?
It's like, wait a minute, I don't like blood. It's like, wait a minute, that's not me. But I remember when I was in school back in the Dominican Republic, I used to do dances. I used to put like a lot of different activities together to make little money. Okay. Right? Oh. So I used to.
A producer.
Yeah. So I used to do like dance party, and I used to charge 20 cents and 50 cents for people to actually go. And I used to manage my money, and my brothers used to always ask me for money. And I was like, wait a minute, this is what I like. But when I was growing up, I always wanted to do something in the international business, right? But I was not able to do that. But I always knew that I wanted to do something that had to do with business, business administration. I like to have my own stuff. I like to do my own things. And I felt that, that was an area that I needed to concentrate in. So everything I did, or everything I have done, I've done it in that arena.
And so, segueing, again, we met through the Hispanic Chamber, and you recently hired on there. Talk about what you do at the Hispanic Chamber.
Well, I was lucky enough to be offered a position as a program manager for Transformando West Michigan.
Which means, in English?
Transforming West Michigan.
Very good.
I work
What needs transforming?
Exactly. Hispanic businesses. A lot of them, they have been stagnant for a while. They haven't moved the needle. A lot of our community members, they need assistance, they need help in developing strategies to help them grow. And their voices have not been heard in a while, right? So as the Hispanic Chamber has analyzed that and I've seen that, we want to make sure that we start moving the needle. We have a lot of great businesses here in Grand Rapids. We have Mexican restaurants, we have supermercados, we have little mom and pop shops that they want to grow, but they just don't know how, and they don't have the same assistance like other businesses have.
And it's one thing starting a business in your home culture, but when you go to a different culture, the cultural rules are different, but then the regulations are different.
Much different.
Banking, accounting systems.
Exactly. And one of the things that a lot of our businesses are lacking is in those areas, like accounting. They know how to get up really early, cook an amazing meal, but they don't know the importance of keeping the accounting system in track so that way they don't get in trouble, right?
And sometimes talent and hard work aren't enough.
It's not enough. So they need people that have their best interests at heart, that's going to actually work with them and make sure that they have those policies, processes, and procedures in place in order for them to be successful. And that's where we come in as a chamber. That's when we want to transform that business. That's when we want to make sure that we are moving the needle. And that's when I really want to encourage, other members of our community and maybe your community to spend their dollars in our businesses, right? Because that's how they're going to have the opportunity to grow.
Sure. I want to make sure before the conversation is over that we put up your website or your contact information on the screen. So the best way to contact you is?
To call the chamber. We have an amazing executive assistant, Danny, and we're always looking for new members as well. Anyone could be a member of the chamber. We have services for everyone, but they could call 616-452-3960 at any time. Leave us a message, and we'll definitely contact them. And we're located at 2007 South Division.
You just got a new office?
New office. We will be doing a ribbon cutting hopefully soon. I think it's in December.
Okay, well, I'll be sure to attend.
Absolutely. We would love to have you there. And we had all our furniture was donated to us by Steelcase. So we are happy.
A solid local employer.
Solid local employer that believe in the mission and the vision and mission of the chamber and want to make sure that they assist us with that. So we appreciate that.
So we have to wrap up in a moment, but I want you to tell us just a little bit about the programming that you're doing with Transformando West Michigan.
Well, the program is so amazing because it's given us the opportunity. Right now we have a session going and it's about human service, HR, right? A lot of our business owners, they don't really understand the policies and procedures. So going through this process and the program, they're going to be able to have solid processes and procedures in their workplace that could actually help them stay on task, right? So that would allow them not to get into any kind of trouble.
Sure.
And that's what we're looking for.
The U.S. has lots of opportunities, but we also have a lot of
regulations. And there's nothing wrong with those regulations. We just need to be diligent enough to ensure that our businesses, they know it, they understand it, and they could actually implement them.
Sure. And if you can teach them about it, they're glad to employ them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we have another program coming up. It's going to be the customer service. And coming from the Dominican Republic and Central America in general, customer service has a different meaning, right? You walk into a restaurant, you're going to get served. here is different. People, it's an experience here, and we want to make sure that we provide that same level of customer service throughout in all our restaurants. So we're looking forward to that upcoming training.
Awesome, awesome. Last question before we go. The show is called Feel Like You Belong. What's your understanding of belonging?
My understanding of belonging is knowing that other people have your best interests at heart. And here we have a huge community. I'm blessed to have people around me that really care, that I could pick up the phone and I know that they have my back, right? I belong to the Latina network. I have one of my best friends who I adore, Raquel Guzman. She's really amazing. I feel that finally Grand Rapids is a real home for me because I have people around me that believe in me, that see in me what I haven't seen in myself, and continue to push me to do things better.
Awesome.
In life.
Awesome.
So
We're going to have to leave it there, but I want to thank you so much for coming by and sharing your story with us.
thank you so much for the invitation.
Continued success in transforming West Michigan.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching on TV, stay tuned for our following segments on information on culture. If you're watching us on the internet, I hope you will check out our other conversations with the savvy sojourners who are making these United States a more successful place.